Bob Rowan with Xable Sports, website xable.com, which covers everything from health to sports to everything for the disability community. And here we are at the Knock and Roll tournament. Kevin Orr with me again. We're back for the second half of this game. Texas Stampede. And there's Mark Zupan. He's making a little room for himself here. Scores 30-22 Texas over the Gunners here. Long pass there. That's what helpful to have a big man there, right? Grab that ball right out of midair. Big hands. Mark Zupan still playing. Does he find his way through? Yes. Oh, gets knocked out of bounds. Okay.
Some of the inexperience of the newer players with Chase Beard and Jesse Honnold not going up the floor and spreading out. They're trying to move too close to the ball. This is allowing hover around right here to keep them pinned in.
How come Texas kept the ball? Because he was knocked out? Oh, a real mistake.
They got a timeout there is where they were able to keep the ball.
Easy score by Nick Springer again. A rare turnover for Texas. We haven't seen very many of them in this game.
No, and I think the inexperience with some of the players that they have that they're going to bring in, you're going to see a few more turnovers, but really that's valuable experience for Jay Speck and Jesse Honnold and for Chase Beard. And the idea of getting them on the floor against a good team like Hoveround is it'll pay off at the end of the season.
Yeah, not big week on it. It's good, man.
One of the things that viewers...
And that's a score.
Viewers may see these three referees on the floor. The idea is that they're doing some referee training here. So typically there are only two officials on the floor. And we have a few that are shadowing some of the top officials here this weekend. Which we really need to develop the officials and classifiers and other support people within the sport. It's one of the life tools really that we have to help keep the sport growing. A lot of times we look at the players, but really support staff is key. The referees and classifiers are volunteer in a lot of cases and are brought into the sport, but if we didn't have them, we wouldn't have the sport.
It was fun to watch a little bit of a race up the court with Mark Zupan and Nick Springer, and here we are. Looks like another goal there. Scores 32-24. Texas up by 8. Oh, long pass. Who's going to get there? Nick going to get it? Yes, he does. Kenny comes back. He recovers.
That's great hustle by Nick Springer. Staying in the game, staying in the action, making the play.
He's fast.
He's got great speed. He's one of the faster players in the U.S. program. And as a Class 2, having that speed, it's and he's developing the knack to be in the right place at the right time.
Nice closing out the door there. Thought he found a hole, does he? No. They're playing some tough defense against him.
Still the tires up. That fix him at the ball? Maybe.
Like, Mark still hasn't found a hole. Nick is all over him. Pass. Oh!
Another turnover by the Texas Stampede.
A rare one by Mark Zupan. Another goal here. We can see we've missed having Nick Springer in here for a while because he comes back in and immediately there's 3 goals to his credit.
I don't know, you got to call him.
Well, he's quite an impact player, and he's really still in a developmental phase of his game. I mean, he's in his low 20s. Young player. Great world of potential, and he's a fighter. He's originally from New York, so and he brings a lot of the swagger from growing up in New York, and it's really paid off coming down here and playing with Hoveround because he's really developed his game, and Hoveround's really helped develop him into a national team caliber player.
Nice heads-up play there. That's a nice pass. And Jesse Howell with the score from Mark Zupan. 33-26 with 5 minutes and 50 seconds left in the third period. Gunners with the ball. Inbound. They're coming up. Number 13, Mike Whitehead. Strong player, looking for... We haven't seen him score in a little while. Oh, what a nice pass. That was a sweet pass, and to Pat O'Connor.
Again, Mike is he's a solid player. He should be the teeth behind this team. And I think one of the things that you'll see with these guys is losing a player like Dave Jenkins. It might have taken a little bit of a spark out, but these guys will play tough for the whole 32 minutes. They're not going to quit. They're not going to back down. But they also know it's a long weekend, so they may shift down gears a little bit and not go full tilt to try to save something for later on. We get them tonight, so I imagine they're going to give us a battle tonight as well. We'll end up playing both these teams today here.
So a score on one end by Mark Zupan, answered by Nick Springer, which is probably the two highest scoring people for both teams at this point. So Mike Whitehead has certainly come and scored quite a few, and Pat O'Connor too, I guess. Mark for a hole there. Oh, look at that. Sweet move by Mark Zupan. Little trash talk in there. Oh! I think,
Take it back again.
oh, nice pass. Number 22, Jace Beck for a score. Gotta be careful. They want to let this game get away, the Gunners. Ball up.
This is valuable experience for Jace Beck and Jesse Honnold. Like I said earlier, the fact that they come in and play against the top 10 caliber team like Hub Brown and get these valuable minutes, it really is going to pay dividends for them at the end of the season, and that opens up the versatility of Texas later on in the year.
Mike Whitehead with that score. Mark Zupan with a long pass. Intercepted? Yes. There we go. Another rare turnover for Mark Zupan. Expect we'll see Mark playing the whole game, or are they going to substitute him?
It's kind of surprising that he's been in here this long with playing as many games as we'll play this weekend. I mean, they do have subs for him, so it looks like they're bringing Shimakawa in for him.
Yes. Score. 37-30 Texas over the Gunners. Sarasota.
And you'll hear Hogsett now just getting into the game a little bit more, getting a little more vocal. Mark looks visibly frustrated on the floor, so
Oh, that was a nice pass to Nick.
that is a value of Scott Hogsett because he's positive with his players and he can bring, just through his words and talking through, and keep them up in the game.
Yeah.
So as he
Even the
sees
leader off the court.
Absolutely. When you see the frustration on the court, a lot of times Scott will really try to bring them back up and bring things in. It's one of the great things that Scott Hogsett brings to the table.
Every week, oh, a little yep. There we go. Little penalty there on number 11, Pat O'Connor. Reaching in. A little use of the hands.
338.
This is one of those take the face off shot. And all right.
Well, the reason why
Nietzsche in. Mark Zupan takes his breather finally with about 3 minutes and 38 seconds, and Texas up by 6.
Yeah, you note the frustration of Pat O'Connor because Mark was clearing outside of the cylinder with the ball, so therefore he feels that reaching in, the contact was initiated by Zupan. But the referees are always right, aren't they?
Yes.
Smart play by Zupan, knowing that he'd get a call and
had a chance to sit in the hockey radio broadcast booth for the Tampa Bay Lightning with Phil Esposito and Dave Mishkin. Dave Mishkin, the voice of the Lightning. But Phil Esposito, as everybody knows, hockey is one of the greats. And he certainly is not afraid to say what he thinks about the refereeing and the officiating of the game. Long pass. Oh, beautiful pass. And
the referees...
Gonna get there in time. Holds up and he swings around and finds the hole. Nick Springer. Go ahead about the referees.
The referee association is really pulled together, and they're developing more rapport amongst themselves and developing more professionalism within their ranks. So we have to credit the referees for doing the right things to develop their future, as well as making a commitment to develop good and bad things, as far as saying, okay, hey, this is what we're doing wrong, this is what we're doing right. and they're asking for some feedback from the coaches now, which, as a coach who's, you can get frustrated with officials, but at the same time, you have to understand that they're going to make mistakes just like I will as a coach and a player will. The idea is that we want to try to...
Nice give and go there.
To bring as much professionalism to the game as possible through the officials, players, coaches, and everything else. So
Nick Springer again for a score, 39-33. No, that was a nice pass sequence there. Look at this, they're locked up there. Trying to keep Shinichi from being able to do anything.
He'd get called for a 10-second call here pretty soon.
He was in there for at least 10 seconds.
He was in there for a while. He was pitching a 10, as we like to call it.
Yeah, it looked like they locked him in a little bit, too.
Well, that is a strategy, trying to block him in and hold him in the key for 10 seconds. And that's one way of getting a turnover.
Yeah. Don't let yourself get caught. Chase Bearden getting a new set of wheel there.
Just changing it out for whatever reason.
Fix him up.
I don't think so. Anyways,
Score 40-33 with 2 minutes and 32 seconds left in the third period. Oh, turnover there. Texas recovers the ball. Shinichi with the ball, looking for a chance to find a hole. Shinichi goes around on the right side. Back to the center, looking for the end. Does he find a hole with a pass? Number 17, and he scores.
Interesting thing, Joe Soares is over here on the sideline asking me what classification Jesse Honnold is. So he obviously sees the potential in him as well, and him coaching Great Britain. Maybe there's a little concern there for the future.
Okay. Well, strong defense there for Texas. But doesn't do much good when you got someone sitting there on the goal line. All that's to do is back in. Pat O'Connor. 41-34, 7-point game with about 1:55 remaining in this third period. Texas, I would say, has kept their lead, and even with substituting in a lot of their normally not play people.
I'm impressed with the poise that Jace Beck and Jesse Honnold have shown, and just filling in the right places where they played with some good composure. That may be I may have just jinxed them there, but they've really played with good composure, and they filled in very well for Texas.
He anticipated that, but he got ahead of himself, or ahead of the ball, as they would say, right?
Well, that's not just a rookie mistake. It's you see a lot of experienced players will do that as well. We had a few of those issues in our game. But, coming out the first game of the tournament, you're not as sharp, and a lot of teams like Texas.
Nice pass.
They'll be sharper throughout the tournament.
Pat O'Connor for another score. At least they're staying in it, because we know 6 points may be a big lead, but it's not unsurmountable in a period.
Well, the other factor in a round-robin tournament like this is that you're really looking at point spread, because if there are any ties, it could come down to point differential, and so we don't want to get in a situation where you're looking to try to run up the score on any particular team, but you also
may need it.
Right, you're going to want to look at what the point differential is in case you get in a situation where there's a tie-break situation.
42-35, we saw a score for Shinichi. Under some heavy pressure. Aaron Palace passes the ball. Pat O'Connor going down. What a hit, but it doesn't stop him. Shinichi really put something on him, but the forward momentum was there. 6 points. We have 43 seconds left. Texas with the ball. They're probably going to try to hold on if they can. They've for just a couple of seconds left in the shot clock for the Gunners. See how well their strategy is going to work. You can hear the Scott yelling out the time, keeping his members there as everybody's jockeying the place. She's looking.
He's not calling out what's on the shot clock, which is kind of interesting to me, because there's 8, 7, 6 on the shot clock, which that could end up being a shot clock violation here.
Did not score. Good defense. Good defense. Well, 1.6 seconds. Do you think they can open this up, have a long... A little equipment issue here. Well, while we're talking about sports, being that you're with the Lakeshore Foundation and No Power Wheelchair Soccer, you know that some of the X-Able team, Elio Navarro, who's one of the founders of X-Able Sports and Xable.com, played on the U.S. World team that went Power Wheelchair Soccer to Japan.
Well, power soccer has really come a long way in the short history. It's an interesting evolution, and I think the things that power soccer has brought to people is similar to what wheelchair rugby has brought to quads, is that now we have power soccer that's going to open more opportunities for people with more severe disabilities. And it was interesting with our power soccer team. We did a research study about heart rate and exercise benefit of playing power wheelchair soccer, and the study found out that there was some exercise benefit of playing wheelchair soccer, which you wouldn't necessarily picture using a joystick and that, but the adrenaline or whatever throughout the history of the game elevated heart rate to an exercise benefit for the game, which to me is
That's a big benefit, yes. We're on live right now. So we're talking about a sport that, as you know, the power wheelchair team, their finals are coming up. The Nationals will be happening up in Atlanta this year, and your team's going to be there. You're a Division I team, right?
We have a Division I team, and we really only have one team right now, but the players have really developed, and